Hey everybody, welcome back. You're listening to Bearable on KUSF. I'm your host, Aziza, and today I'm joined with a very special guest, Maude Latour. She released her debut album, Sugar Water, last August, and she has an upcoming headlining tour across the country. She'll be playing here in San Francisco at the Independent on March 5th. Today, we'll be delving into the deeper themes of her writing, as well as hearing her journey as an artist. I first discovered her music with her early EP, Starsick. That was released over 5 years ago. I've been hooked ever since. Maud, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today.
Oh, what a beautiful intro. Thank you, Aziza.
Of course, it's such a pleasure to have you. All right, getting into it. Your first EP, Starsick, is my favorite. I've listened to that thousands and thousands of times front to back. I could spit every word right now. I absolutely adore it.
Oh my God, yay, that makes me so happy.
I mean, it's just been so cool to see you grow and then get to this like final peak of the album. It's been like really awesome to watch. But I'm interested in knowing how has your writing process developed since it, and what does it kind of compare to what you're doing on Sugar Water or even like Strangers Forever or Twin Flame?
Yeah. Well, I'm curious what you think has evolved and changed as well. But I'm so glad that the Starsick EP exists because I think it was just the distilled version of my who I was as a kid and in high school. And it's like I think it's like the purest like North Star of my project. And when I feel lost, I think I do remember that like this starsick, like this theory, this belief, this like revolution, this like world, this bubble of just like the purest version of these feelings that I still think that I'm singing about now. But I'm curious what you think has changed as well.
I
Oh.
definitely agree with that. It's like such a snapshot of time, but I feel specifically just lyricism. I feel like in Starsick, it's more like talking about this person and what they're doing, and it's compared to Sugar Water, it's like it's so much more like thoughts and what you're feeling. It's less like tangible, I'd say. Starsick feels very tangible, very like I'm in a setting and I'm there.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel
Yeah.
like Sugar Water got a lot more metaphorical, which I appreciate both.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, I see that. I absolutely see that. Totally.
Starsick, did it come out? Were you writing these at the end of high school? Had you gotten to college in New York yet?
Mm. I was, it was the end of high school. I took a gap year between high school and college. So a lot of it was from that. Shoot and Run was at the end of high school. I had been writing songs for all of high school, and I think, but it was finally after I finished school that I found this like way that I could make things sound truly like me. And it went from the production, and it was my first time working with producers. And I found how I could make the whole world, the whole, environment of the song feel like my little world as well. So I guess, and then some of it was during college as well, the first year of college. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is so crazy. That is so cool.
I know it is
Okay.
kind of crazy. I'm like, who was she? I don't.
What was she doing? How was she doing it? I can't imagine. Like just I don't know. I'm in my second year now, but like seeing what you've accomplished in that time. I'm like that's just it's crazy work. It honestly is.
Thank you. I always compare myself to my past self. I'm like, was she way cooler and doing way more? But I think that's just life, and she's inside me as well.
I love that. Well, I had to give it its flowers because it has such
Yeah.
a special place in my heart. I
What's
love
your
it so
favorite
much.
song on it, do you think? And or like tell me a lyric that you care about on it. Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, it's like I'm like, can I say half of the EP? Probably. Okay. I really love Ride My Bike. I like sprint around to that song and it's just so like I backpack through the universe like that whole like bridge part. It's so good. Uh
About that song lately because I've put out so many songs. I don't know what I'm like, have you guys heard all of them? Like, do you know this?
yeah.
People have mentioned Ride My Bike recently, and I listened to it recently, and it I feel like it makes more sense in 2025. Like sonically, just like the drums and even the melodies feels like it's more from this year. I remember it feeling like slight. I was like, I don't know how this makes sense in at the time, and it felt different. But and now I think it like blends into the sonic what's popular now. Like, wait,
That's so interesting. I think I agree with that. Definitely ahead of its time. Like 2019 was not the era of that. I mean, you were right up there, but also like Starsick, Lovesick, crazy, just crazy, just on repeat. They go
oh,
hand in hand. Such a good one. I really love it.
thank you.
Yeah, of course. Okay, well now getting into sugar water. I've got so many thoughts. I've got so much to say.
I can't wait to hear.
Um, it is just it's such a body of work. It's an exceptional debut. Some might say it's a classic type of record that always comes back.
Stop, you get it. Stop, you get it.
So I want to dive into its story, not just of like your creation process, but really your intention behind it. So last year after the release, you responded to a fan who asked if the track list order holds importance, and you gave a pretty detailed outline of the purpose behind it. I was like, wait, because I'd been listening to it, obviously. It was like one of my fall albums, but I was like, oh, this is a little rabbit hole I want to fall down. Because it's very cohesive and it's got this thesis and it's this like all-encompassing story with different acts. I mean,
Mhm.
you take us through a journey start to finish, and ultimately you prove that love and loss are not opposites. There
Mhm.
isn't a binary, there's only seeing something in its whole, where
Mhm.
even the fall is included in that.
Oh, Aziza, you're perfect. Oh.
It's this album. It's this album that's perfect. It's too good. So you described it in these kind of three parts. So we've got Act One, the part one, which is before the fall. This is life without loss. This is paradise. And you kick us off with track one, officially mine. In
Oh.
your words, you described it as at first innocence, a wish and desire for love, knowledge.
Mm. Oh, Aziza, you're gonna make me cry.
No, because we just started.
Oh,
You
you're making
can't,
me
because then
cry.
I'll cry too, and it's gonna be a whole thing.
It just means so much to me because everyone feels so much doubt, and sometimes it's so easy to doubt yourself. And the
Yeah.
fact that you've listened so deeply to all these songs that just like mean so much to me. So thank you.
Yes, of course. I'm very grateful to have it. It really carried me through some months there and still does. My favorite lyric though from Officially Mine that I feel like sums it up well is I dream about going too fast and something that'll last. So you've got the part about going too fast, but then you also want it to last, which is kind of like ironic in itself. You're like, I want to dive into this. I want to go head first and get all like encapsulated in it, and then I want it to last forever.
Exactly.
Um,
Ugh, and
in
that's the
which,
same feeling to me as like the desire in Ride My Bike of like I runner's high. I want to feel this forever. I'm not afraid to die. Let's go. This like same craving that I think everyone has, and I felt since a kid of just like wanting everything, wanting wholeness, wanting just this totality feeling. And my song 001, it is the
yep,
same, referring to this same total euphoria. Not, it's more than euphoria. It's like just like everythingness kind of. And so yes, so yeah, you're absolutely right to highlight those lyrics. Thank you. The first person who has listened to them. Yeah, thank you. Who has talked about them. Thank you.
it's so good. And I like the like you want like how quickly it is. I mean, it circles right back to track three too slow, but you're like, I want it to go quickly. I don't want this to move at a nice pace. I don't want this to I just want it and I want it fully and wholly. And then whenever you do experience that eventual, maybe inevitable loss, it's
Exactly.
that much more reflective. So I think it's a really good opener. I really love that one.
So glad. Yeah, and there was, I think after I saw the whole track list, I kind of realized that even though officially mine is supposed to be this like, oh, I haven't like life is perfect. Wow, I just love you and a crush. It's still a pining for something that you don't have yet. And that was an interesting thing to realize after the fact. I'm like, oh, even in these moments where you think you have everything, I'm wishing for something that it isn't mine and is out of touch still. Like you're idealizing that you even have that wholeness.
Mm.
It doesn't even ever exist, maybe ever.
It's so romanticized and so perfect. I love it. All right, moving on to track two, Cursed Romantics. Your little blurb for this was it's the taste of the apple, the taste of love and its risks. I love that little call there. And I love all of the like your lyrics just get strangely, deeply philosophical at points. And like without knowing your background, someone would be like, oh my gosh. But I love that your degree just pops in there, always kind of
Oh.
influencing. But the lyric I noticed from this one, you say, "What do I do when your love has changed me?" Similar to the way in Trees, you say, "It occurs to me I'm forever changed by you." That theme of eternal impact,
Mm.
that like it just keeps coming back. But then also knowing that these things are so intangible and like forever is just this idea.
Oh, that's incredible. Wow. Um, so true. So true. I'm always thinking about it's wanting things to last forever, but then changing all the time. And how can those both be true? And that's an impossible desire to have both. Um, Curse Romantics is so in I this kind of mirrored a like structure of the Garden of Eden of you have this paradise and then this bite from the apple and it reminds me of Cursed Romantics of like poison apple like imagery and this you taste this sweetness super sweet and then you take a bite of this thing that you're not supposed to know what it's like to if you to taste like something actually worth losing or something you get a taste of like oh my God I could lose all of this or what is this and you enter it the Curse Romantics is so like the entrance into this journey absolutely
That's that's so true. And I like the apple because like I feel like with the apple, like you taste the apple, but you won't always have the apple. The apple will be in you. You won't always have the apple. Same way when you're with someone, you'll always get that taste of them. They'll always be in you in some way, but you may not always have them.
oh my God incredible what are you majoring in
Oh, I'm media studies.
how
This is what
amazing
I'm doing.
cool great analysis
Thank
okay I want to hear what you have next I'm so excited
Okay, so we're at the end of Act One. We've made it to Too Slow. Oh my gosh.
yeah
I love this one so much.
really
You described it as innocence, but sirens beckoning you to cross to the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God. Totally. I think if the apple opens your awakenness, your awareness, then this is like, here we go. Let's here the journey starts. Get in the fucking freaking car. Oops. Um, and yeah, absolutely. And it's still, I like how it's in this innocence. It's before the whirlpool, so there's this high school imagery. It's like rewriting this high school narrative, maybe in a more free, queer, empowered version. And but it's this innocence. I took a shot from the fountain of youth. If you're not drinking with me, I'll have nothing to do. Like I want come to forever with me. Like and and yeah, it's totally sirens. Come on, we're going. Let's.
I love it. So good. I mean, even it kind of sonically feels a little different to me. Like it feels like we're peaking right before we're getting pulled down under the tide that's coming. Like
So true.
it's so quick and such a rush. I mean, they even played it at my gym one day and I looked up and I was like, "Oh my gosh, they're playing too slow." And I was like, "Oh gosh, these people have no idea what's coming after this."
Oh, oh yes. I've heard it's playing at like crunch gyms or like 24/7.
Yes, yes, in 24 hours you're on the playlist.
So
It's so good. Like I love
funny.
it. I was interested, who's doing the background, like the O's? Is
Oh,
that Samantha herself?
oh, that's awesome. No, it's me.
Oh,
The
okay. Yes.
that yeah, that's
Yes.
me just being crazy. Yeah.
No, so good.
Aw.
All right, so we've made it to part two, the second act of the album, the biggest part, which is the fall, where you learn loss.
Mm.
Um, and it starts with track four, Whirlpool. You described it as crossing the threshold to the other side. This is after the fall, and it's suddenly knowing death and loss.
Mm.
This is my favorite track on the album. It makes me feel absolutely everything.
I'm so glad. I love this one too.
I think it was just it's just too good. I think verse two is the perfect explanation of like taking that metaphorical sugar water.
Mm.
So I love that you placed the song right before the title track because it sets it up really well. Like the quote specifically, the difference between love and loss, loss and love's only letters and the drugs you take. I'm hoping I don't smoke it all away because pain illuminates. I'm getting deeper in the waves, so I get on the plane. Like fully diving into it, fully leaning in.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh my gosh. So true. This one we could talk about forever and we'd still never know what it's about. The yeah, I wrote this one right after experiencing a loss of someone. And I remember I was just like looking around at the trees and I saw hummingbirds and these flowers and beautiful things. And I couldn't believe how there was so much beauty in this world. But the thing about this world is that things do end. The and then my friend passed away and the these flowers are going to go back into the earth again and like it has this hyper beauty and hyper loss at the same time and everything here is going to turn into dust again as well as will we and I was thinking about the threshold between I was thinking looking around where I was and wondering where my friend was and he was on the other side of this whirlpool and I was thinking about this like fine line between the world I was in and where he was. And I'm like, I don't know where his world is. I don't know where he is now. But I know it's just on the other side of this.
Yeah.
And I like these butterflies. Everyone feels when butterflies are fine. They're always a sign for everyone. And so they go between the thresholds and they butterfly effect, they make random things happen. This like chaos in this song of butterfly effect and absolute chaosness, but yeah, also going between these worlds kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah.
such a nice way to put it. Like I think it's like you're realizing this chaos and this such like existential thing that's like God, but then you just surrender
Mhm.
and you like know that love has been felt and that it'll continue being felt because like where else can it go if not like inside of us? So gosh, it's my favorite. I love that track so much.
Glad. I'm so glad. Yay.
Then we circle to track five, Sugar Water. You've described it as a taste of paradise, an impossible bubble without death, a pure drop of sugar water. But is it truly paradise?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, totally. I didn't I picture this song as when you die or when you go through the whirlpool and this is the like the indulgent party that all the gods and the spirits throw for you on the other side of life. They're popping bottles of champagne that's actually bioluminescent sugar water and these fountains of bioluminescent sugar water and the sweetness and like people's mouths and people's this intimacy, but it's not even like sexual necessarily. It's just this intimacy and like this crazy freedom of war anything being allowed and possible. And yeah, yeah.
I love that. I want to go there. I love it. That's how it makes me feel though. I mean, and when I love it, like, can you spit sugar water straight into my mouth? It's like directly infect me with this bliss and get rid of any of the peripheral doubt. Like straight in, injection, I've got it. Like
Totally.
nothing else exists. Like quick acting.
Exactly. You get it. You get the song. Exactly. Exactly. I have nothing else to say.
So
You're
good. Okay, now track six, Come Down, where you realize no, it's actually not paradise. The come down after the sugar water. I mean, this song is just pure mourning, experiencing the loss. It's so emotional. And I mean, the line, all I have left with is the photos. What do I do with the memories? It just sticks with me because it really is just like reflecting on like when you lose something, through anything, like through any means, it's like all I've got left is this impact and these things, and I just don't have you. And like, what do I do with that? Where do I put all of this love?
Exactly. Exactly. I think this is like the most story song and on the album, and it was me literally looking at the photos, and when you lose someone or when you're processing something, you have these images of these flashbacks and these moments. It's so clear suddenly. And yeah, I this there's a lot of things in this song. It's definitely a reference to Strokes album that I love, 80s Come Down Machine. And Handlebars was the name of the first song that I ever really wrote when I was like in high school.
Oh,
And
cool.
it was about this person that this song is about, and I wrote it right after he and I like had our 15-year-old breakup, and it made me start writing songs. And so this right while writing this album, it was just such a full circle moment when he passed away, and it was so confusing and trippy and painful, and but also like yeah, I think this song is such an tribute to him, and he so like made me first explore New York and started my like teenage years of like, no, we're gonna sneak out and we're gonna stay out all night. Like, come meet me outside on this block. And like I and like and that's like the feeling that I ended up that started my musical journey of singing about everything. And so and the Strokes too have always been my like safe place of music listening, and he showed me the Strokes and we listened to those songs and together, and like so this song is just all of those feelings, and it feels like such a full circle thing, and it reminds I can't help every time I sing it feels like the feeling that I had at 15. And yeah, it sounds exactly like it. Yeah. Hmm.
That's beautiful. I think it's such a good tribute and it resonates so deeply. And like the specificity of like the memories you had and are remembering. I tried to join your band. You took me on the bridge. Like it's so personal to you and you guys' relationship, obviously, but like I can just like see that in so many people I've known who've come in my life. I was like, yeah, that's a really good midpoint of Sugar Water, I think.
That agreed. And I also I love the rose petals up in my room. Like, and then when it co infinite roses later, I think that's when I make more peace with the loss.
Oh,
And so I like that through line too. Yeah.
I never caught that. That's great. All right, moving on to track seven, Summer of Love, described as the pure present moment in the backdrop of loss. There's still the present moment. There's still summer in New York. It's eternal paradise.
Totally. And seven special number. I'm glad that this one's intentionally track seven. For a while I thought this was the intro to the album. In my in the director's cut, it is the intro to that. But I also like how it's the midpoint, it's a midpoint of the album, and then on the vinyl itself, it is the first song on the other side. So it is a new beginning in that way. It's my own beginning again. And um and totally, I think because it's track seven, it's the freeze frame of the feeling that we're singing about. What is sugar water actually? It's totally this perfect summer day. And that come down is chasing and everything else is the fallout from. But this is like my taste in music of so it feels like Strokes X electro pop X New York X every influence that I've had my pure indulgent like this is my safe place. This is my bliss place. Totally.
That's so good to hear. So good. It's just amazing. Then we enter into the loss era with Save Me. I mean, it's just sadness, pure sadness. It's knowing losing, it's grief. And the lyric, that's why I don't get lost in love, because I've lost in love. It's like not trusting yourself to let that happen again, like to let you get that vulnerable again, give that to someone because you've lost. And it's like coping with that. Do I want to let this like limit me, never feel that again because it's gone now?
Totally. And I think that is the moment in the album where you think maybe I'll never feel this again. And this is a special one to me because I think for all of my discography, I've never wanted to even in my breakup songs, I've never wanted the listener, the main character, to ever ask for help or ever be like, oh, I'm so small and weak and I don't know what to do. It's even in my breakup songs, I, it's important to me that you feel the power of being that person and you're always the strongest person in when your headphones come on. That's what I want my music to do for people. But I feels like this is the first song in my discography that I've ever asked for help or ever been like, no, actually, I'm at my absolute lowest low, actually. And so this is a new question for me in writing. And I think it was also this is what this album is about. It's like getting older and you think you're invincible when you're young. And actually for the first time I was like, oh my God, no, I there's no way to sugarcoat this. I actually lost someone and I'm actually at my lowest right now and inviting that type of moment to my world. Yeah.
That's cool. I'm glad you let that come into your music and like reflect that like really, really deep feeling that was there. And I think it kind of bleeds into Cosmic Superstar Girl because we're still in that loss era of sadness and like it's very much like surrendering still, giving it over, being like, yeah, I'm not good. You say I'd never be the same as I was before I loved her. Circling back to that eternal impact, your love has changed me forever, and saying it was fatal. There's nothing you can do except live it. So I let you change everything.
Mhm.
Like fully diving in,
Mhm.
letting it overtake you,
Yeah.
losing it and being like, oh, well, now it feels like I've lost everything. That's not good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love this track. This is the first song I wrote for the whole album. And I like that so the album started with this. I had a vision on the North Star, and that's so Starsick, always leading
Yeah.
me somewhere. And yeah, this one's so inspired by this is such a coming of age album, and this was after college and all these blurry friendships that I spent college navigating and things that were totally love and were totally romantic, and I didn't understand at the time. And this is so just from and all these incredible people I was around in college, these incredible girls who are just so dedicated to making the world better. And after college, they were all going to go pursue their dreams and go achieve the things that I loved them for. And I realized we would never be in this like sharing, beds and in the same apartment. It would never be the same. And it was this end of summer moment of dropping one of them off at the train station and being like, oh my God, when you get on the train, like it's never going to be the same again. And I was starting to fall in love with someone and she was dating someone and it was like even this like blurry, beautiful, semi-romantic friendship we had was over and this like time of that like love was done in some ways. So, but it's also like you're so sick of the modern earth world and you're gonna go on your journey and like make this world better. And I trust you. Like go for it.
That's such a cool reflection. I really love that. And it's so strange to hear now that I'm at that age. Obviously you were when you were experiencing all that and all the same. I mean, we need more songs about homoerotic codependent friendship. It's just true. If
I have a
if you
lot.
know, you know. Okay, then we get to the 10th one, 7. This beginning to transition into something, appreciating the journey and attempting to taste it despite the risk. It's so good. I love loving you despite that we're running out of time.
Hmm.
It hits so deeply to me.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad this is an interlude because I just didn't think about any song structure and just let out whatever this poem was supposed to be. I think even before the album existed, I just had this image of like drive of these rolling hills and like windows down and just driving through them and like this song finally I got to say paint that picture of that feeling. Um, and yeah, and explain sugar water, explain truly what I mean by the concept of sugar water and and yeah, make the feeling of things ending and still tasting it totally and still feeling the moment totally. Yeah.
That's so great. I love it. I love the kind of like concluding the era of loss,
Hmm.
coping with it, and then ready to get into the healing, the third act, which is
Yeah.
healing. And it's the proof that love and loss are not opposites. They go hand in hand. Maybe they're even the same thing.
Hmm.
Track 11, Infinite Roses. What
Hmm.
a song. I mean, it's healing. It's only possible because of friendship, vulnerability, and after you've hit your very lowest low.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
it's it's that moment of realization of like I've lived it, I learned it, and now like I can see the beauty in it, really. I can
Yeah.
see how it's changed me for the better.
Hmm.
Um, the lyrics swear that I could see an angel in the building above. Once I met a stranger and she told me that there was infinite fucking roses. Can you
Hmm.
share a bit about this moment? I read it happened during your gap year where I believe were you in Amsterdam?
Yes, yes, I was in Amsterdam. Wow, you've done your research. Yes, I was in Amsterdam. This is just a secret call in my music of this person, this woman I met who was in the bunk bed above me in my hostel in Amsterdam during my gap year. And she was the first person we went on this crazy long walk together. And she was like, "Do you want to hang out?" I was like, "Sure." And we went on this walk, and then she started talking about how she could see angels sitting on all these buildings. And I was just out of high school and I was like listening and I felt this like choice in my mind that either I could think she was totally crazy or I could admit that I totally could see angels on all of the tops of these buildings. And I was like, you know what? I see them too. And then we went on this walk all night through Amsterdam, and we realized hours in that we didn't even ask each other's names and we didn't know our ages. And I was 18 and she was 35, and she was just this woman. And it made me just aware of my feelings. And she said the line that she said that changed my mind forever was she was like, you know, the Bible was written by people like us. Like, it was written by these people who saw meaning in things, and all of these holy books they're written by people like us, and it just brought to life this spiritual way of the world, or just the sacredness in the world is things that we can actually see when we look at buildings. We can choose whether or not we see them, and they are there, and it's not nothing. The concept of a divine is not this hippie crazy thing we have to sign on to. It's already totally around us, and it just blew my mind and made me more aware of my feelings and aware of the thoughts in my head, how I could choose to be positive or choose to be peaceful. And we stayed in touch for a while, and then um, I I accidentally deleted the WhatsApp app, and then all the data was gone and her number was gone. And I I went to the host I called the hostel a bunch of times. They went through all the records. There was no one with her name who had ever stayed in the hostel. I can't find her anywhere. I have no idea. I don't know her last name. I know where she worked and I know what she looks like and I have a selfie with her and I and I have no idea where she is. And so sometimes I have this secret wonder that if I ever get super famous and big, like I'll find her and maybe putting it out into the universe for her. She's never gonna hear like track 11 and think like, oh, that's me. But putting it out into the world that maybe one day she'll find it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That is such a story. Oh my gosh. I can't even, I mean, I love what you came to realizing like the divine is within us and it's what we create, but like just all of it, like not getting each other's names at first and then losing it and just it it
Mhm.
feels bigger. It feels bigger than us. That's interesting. I hope you can get into contact with her somehow someday. I'm sure it'll circle back. It always does.
Me too. Me too. This song, I love this song. It was so because at this low point that Come Down and Whirlpool and Save Me are all about my friend Mabel, you know, came to California, picked me up and we went on this road trip. We jumped into the ocean and like I could feel this pain melting away. And when you need a friend to help bring you back to yourself and then there's these background vocals towards the end, like it says, "Will you know me, baby, even if I'm changing?" And like that was my plea to her, kind of like, I'm in this moment in my life, everything is changing. I don't know who I'm going to be. Are you still going to be here for me? Are you still going to be my friend through all of this? And totally the answer is yes.
I
Yeah.
love that. I mean, I even love how they're background vocals. It's like we're hearing your inner monologue as you're like
Yeah.
saying what you're feeling, and then we're just hearing these echoes. I mean, it's all throughout the album. I love that. I love that aspect of the production. I think it just sounds awesome. All
Thank
right. And the final track, Bloom, it's got to be
you.
one of the best songs I've ever heard. You've described it as love is everywhere and loss allows me to see you in everything. You're
Mhm.
not gone, you're everywhere. All my love is connected. This is a life cycle. This is how we start again. Things die and then things bloom and start again. Love and loss are the same thing. It's a part of living.
Mhm. Totally. This song is just this walk through the world of noticing everything and seeing these people who are not with me in everything and seeing the people I love, my like the people I'm in love with in everything too. Everyone seeing everything and everything. It's trees, everything is everything is everything is everything. And it just feels like the arrival to this state of connectedness. And even if we die, we go back into the earth and we bloom again in these life cycles forever. Yeah.
I love that. And I especially love the shift in the post chorus. I think it's just transcendent when you say, baby, you're God, baby, you're dying, baby, you're dead, baby, you're lightning. And that's why I said, you're so lovely and you always will be. So we bloom.
Yeah,
It's
it
like
totally.
releasing that and
Yeah,
letting it flow again.
exactly, exactly. And maybe there's a vocal you can't really hear. It's like, and that's why I said you are and you always will be. And like you are a skateboard, you are this, you are these things, and you always will be. Even though these people are gone, they're present. Yeah.
Gosh, I love that so much. I love that. Thank you so much for going through the track list with me. I've wanted to pick your brain about it ever since I got those little blurbs, and I think it deserves this complete timeline of
Oh,
intention and hearing straight from you what the your purpose was behind it. And
wow.
just thank you for taking the time to talk to me today in general. It has been so lovely getting to meet you.
Oh, lovely. I will see you at the show. Make sure you can come backstage and so I can say thank you.
That'd be
Uh,
awesome.
yeah. This is amazing. This is so fulfilling. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for spending this time to look at it and finding meaning in it. It means the world to me. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much. All right, well, enjoy your weekend. Have a good Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
And have an amazing tour. I am so looking forward to see it.
Thank
I've
you.
been really wanted to
Opening
make it.
night. Yep.
Is San Francisco the first show? Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Awesome. That's
Yeah.
sick.
I'll see you
Okay.
there.
Yeah, see you there.